Welcome to Unshakeable Belief, where we dive deep into stories of resilience, faith, and finding your purpose. I'm your host, Monica Connolly, here to help you unlock your inner strength and take action toward a life you love. Let's get started. Welcome to Unshakeable Belief. Today, I'm excited to introduce not just a powerhouse entrepreneur, but also my friend and mentor, Brooke Hemingway. Brooke embodies resilience, ambition, and the boundless power of possibility. From her early days as an ICU nurse to becoming a mother of six and building multiple multi-million dollar businesses, Brooke's journey is a testament to grit and grace. Known for her authenticity and her drive, Brooke has helped countless others step into their greatness through her mentorship, her coaching, and transformational events. In this episode, she'll share how she transitioned from an ICU nurse to mom to network marketing master and business leader, how she balances a full and thriving life, and how embracing challenges can unlock your true potential. Brooke, it is an honor to have you here. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Wow, that was such a beautiful introduction. Thank you.
Well, your story is nothing short of inspiring. Can you take us back to the moment when you decided to build your own business? And what was the driving force behind that leap of faith?
Yeah, so I never actually was interested in entrepreneurship or in having a business. That was never on my radar. I was very traditional. I have two degrees, one in nursing and one in kinesiology, and had spent, decades of my life in health and wellness and also sickness care. And I had a father that actually had a PhD in economics and was into entrepreneurship. And I just never was like attracted to that. And so I always kind of laugh that I'm an entrepreneur now because that was never on my radar. But I think that we make shifts in our life when there's a transitional time in our life when we really come face to face with like being like deeply dissatisfied or feeling like something is really off. And for me, about 9 years ago, I wasn't living a bad life. I have a great husband. He loves me. We love each other. We have, at the time, we had 5 kids. Now we have 6 kids. But there was something that was just like I was wrestling inside. And there was something that was just off inside of me and something was missing. And I feel like I was just kind of open to like, what is it? Like, I don't know why I'm not happy. I don't know why things feel off. I should be happy. When we should ourselves, I should be happy. I'm living in Hawaii. I have these beautiful, healthy children. I have a husband that loves me, provides well, but I was kind of dead inside. I was bored. I was not inspired. I love my children. I'm obsessed with them. You know that about me. Like, I just think they're the coolest, raddest humans, and we definitely march to the beat of our own drum when it comes to parenting and education. But there was something really missing. And I think the thing that was missing for me was that connection and that ability to make a bigger impact. And I didn't know it would be in the forums that it came in. But when I discovered, for me, my first business was network marketing. And so I discovered the power of impacting people and the power of helping people to believe in themselves and the power of helping people to develop and to become leaders and to question their limiting beliefs. And I just naturally was a challenger. Like I would challenge their limitations. I would challenge their excuses. I would challenge, the things that they thought they could do and would always give them something else to think about. And I just fell in love with that. I fell in love with awakening potential inside of people. And at the same time, it was happening in me. Like my potential was being awakened. And then I was doing it for other people. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I love this. This has been the missing piece. Like I love my family, but I also love helping women to wake up and to remember their dreams, to remember what's possible for them. And so I fell in love with that. And it was just for me, honestly, like one step after another. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know if I really wanted to do it, but I just trusted the process. And it was kind of like, well, we'll see where this goes. We'll see what happens. And there's a song I love called Trust Fall. You know this song.
Yep.
But for me, it really has been a trust fall of like, I'm just going to take a step. I'm going to see where this leads. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. And that sort of a mindset of not having to know how everything is going to work out, but just trusting the journey and taking a step forward to see where it would lead me has paid off big time, not just financially and not just in my success, but also with the experiences that I've had, the relationships that I have, who I've become, what I now know about myself. And if I had questioned every step of the way and been like, well, why am I doing this? How is this going to work out? What's this going to look like? Like, I would never be where I am. So I don't know, a little bit of ignorance, a little bit of ambition, a little bit of like, why not? Let's just go for it. That landed me here because I just knew that something was off and I needed to awaken different parts of me because, we all have a lot of different parts of us, and that part of human connection and making an impact outside of my home was missing. And I found that through entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I love the song Trust Fall. The first time I heard it was at your event in January, and after the event, I kind of took the words to heart and just decided I was going to jump all in 2024 and trust whatever process was going to happen. And it has been a whirlwind since then. So, yeah, it definitely you just have to trust that process.
Yeah.
You just jump in and, my faith, and I know your faith was
Yeah.
a huge factor in that, knowing
Hmm.
that, I love how you say that the idea is put there and, God gives you an idea and he'll always give you whatever it is that you need to make that idea work.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so true. And I think it's also if you can just come to a place where you surrender and you realize that nothing can actually go wrong as long as you're learning. So whatever it is you're creating, whether it's a podcast or a book or a course or a coaching program or a website, it's like you're not failing if you're learning something. And we have this crazy high like bar for ourselves, like, okay, I'm going to do this thing for the first time and it's going to be a massive hit and everyone's going to listen and everyone's going to buy. And then we feel so discouraged when our expectation wasn't met, when in reality, what you learned through the process is golden, right? And sometimes it's just the connections with people. You develop these lifelong relationships, or you hear something from somebody, for example, that you interview, Monica, and you're like, wow, like if I did the podcast only so I could learn from this person, it would have been worth it. So I think taking everything, like taking the pressure off as well. For those of you that are entrepreneurs and you're creating, is like create what you love, do what you love for the purpose of fulfilling your calling, and forget about the vanity metrics, forget about, how many people are showing up. Like ultimately you got to put in your laps. Like you have to put in your time. And sometimes it takes you a year, sometimes it's 3 years, 5 years, might even be 10 years, but you're not failing if you keep getting better and you keep learning.
Absolutely. Well, you have multiple businesses, you have 6 amazing kids that just I love watching how they're growing up and the things that they're doing. What helps you stay grounded and aligned in your purpose?
Um, I mean, I think everything about me really just cares deeply. Like I care deeply about other people's experiences. And I think because in my life, for so many years, and sometimes even still, right? Depression or anxiety will creep in, self-doubt, worthlessness, these things that we have that are lingering inside of us really truly for me was such a mountain to climb. And I still remember that version of me from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 9 years ago when I started in my business. She's not so far removed that I've forgotten what it feels like. And so I think I stay very closely tied to purpose because I love the word remember. It's one of the most important words in the dictionary, in the Bible, anywhere, is remember. And I think if you can always stay humble enough to remember what it used to be like, what you used to feel like what you had to learn, what you had to go through, and if you can put yourself back in those shoes, you will continue to show up because you remember the pain that you went through and you remember how horrible it was to feel that way or how alone you felt or how disempowered you felt. And you can take that and turn it into fuel to keep going. So I very much remember what that felt like. And I just feel like your purpose is, it's like what you're about. Like, what are you all about? Like, what is it? And I constantly have to come back to that as well. It's not like you figure that out once. Like if you're an entrepreneur, a creative, you're trying to leave an impact, make a difference. We all get caught up in the mechanics of running a business. We all get caught up in the metrics, the views or how many people are purchasing or how many people are listening. And when you get really caught up in those metrics, it messes with your mind. And so I continuously am reminding myself, hey, don't look at that. Remember the person you're serving and show up and create because you were her and you want her to see this message. And even if it's only one person, that one person matters. And I really truly believe that. And so often we're going for the big fish. Like we want to have a big touchdown. We want to get lots of clients. We want to get the influential people or whatever it is. Like we're going for the big fish, the big kahuna, when we don't realize that if we're not serving the little fish well, and we're not serving the one person well, and we're not showing up on purpose for a purpose for that one person, we are not going to be able to sustain more than that. We're not going to be able to attract more than that. And so bring your focus back to the one, keep yourself humble, remember who you once were and the process that you had to go through. And if you do that, you'll continue to show up and create because it won't be all about you, right? It'll be about the people that you're serving.
Yeah, I think so much of the work that we do healed us. And in that process, we took that and put it in service to others. And I think that, that really is another way that it keeps me humbled is remembering that my journey started not very long ago, actually at one of your events. And remembering back to, how I was when I started that journey and that's the people that I want to work with, that's where they're at. And being
Yeah.
able to, just always remember how I started and where I
Yeah.
was at and what it took for me to get here.
Yeah. Absolutely. It takes so much humility to just continue to remind yourself. And also, if you're creating to satisfy some kind of metric, that's really soul sucking. But if you create because it's what you love to create and it's what you love to talk about, and it's the kind of business or project or product that you want to be associated with or you want to be doing, like that's in alignment. And it's not you chasing a number or chasing a dollar amount or chasing an amount of people or followers or whatever. It's you really tuning in and tapping into what do I actually really want to talk about? Like what's in alignment and who do I want to serve? And you have to kind of detach from those other things, I think, to maintain the purity of your message, because that's really important that you maintain the purity of your message.
Yeah. Well, whenever I attend one of your events, I always say that you have a way of taking us to church at your event. How does your faith help lead the business choices that you make?
Mm, that's a really good question. It's so interesting because I have, somebody that I work with that just left me a message uh last night actually, and she's like, I'm just thinking about you. And for those of you listening, whether you love Jesus or God or the universe or whatever that is for you, I totally respect that. But she was like, I just see your walk with Jesus like so clearly. And it was such a sweet compliment to her because I think for several years in business, I didn't talk as much about my faith or my reliance on the Lord, or how he had helped me through some really difficult and continues to help me through difficult challenges. Because those of you listening that have children, you know that the challenges keep coming. And when you have six, it's like, okay, I better buckle up because I got, a whole lifetime worth of challenges. And then also on top of that, I'm trying to make a difference. And the devil comes after people who are trying like to wake other people up and help other people live a full life. Like he is going after you. And so I think that my faith over the last few years has really been strengthened because of the trials and the challenges, the disappointments, the deceptions, the things that have gone wrong in my businesses. I have had many things go wrong in my business the last 3 years. A lot of different things kind of falling apart, and I could either be angry or mad at God, or I could look to him and be like, what is it you want me to learn from this experience? What wasn't I listening to? What was I avoiding? What wasn't I paying attention to? And so my faith walk, I think a lot now is about, again, this word alignment, really trying to be in alignment with what God wants me to do. And at this point, and I think we all need to come to this point where we are asking specifically, if it's not for me, take it from me. Like, if it really is not for me, please make it very obvious or take it from me, because I only want to do the things that are truly meant for me, the things that I'm supposed to be a part of, the things that would be for the greatest and highest good of the gifts that he has given to me. And so I really rely on tuning into, a lot of people will say intuition. For me, it's spirit, like listening to that Holy Spirit, like what is the voice of the spirit or intuition trying to say to me? And it's been a process, because I used to be a people pleaser and a yes girl, and I will do anything for you and I will show up for anything. And my faith walk has looked a lot like letting some people down, saying no, not doing as much of the things that I am not supposed to be doing. And sometimes we think a faith walk looks like, showing up for everything and saying yes and like serve, 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 serve. But if you're all served out, you're also drained and you're exhausted, then your family gets the leftovers. The actual things that you're trying to grow get the leftovers. And so the faith journey has been a lot about leaning into, what do you want me to do? And also, I think an untangling of attachments to things that maybe could give me validation, or that other people would give me praise for, or needing the approval of other people. It's been like this untangling where I feel like what I want most is to be in line with his will. And that has required me to tune in and tap in on a daily basis to things that feed my spirit and feed my soul, because 1000% I believe that success is a spiritual journey. And if you want to be able to run the race and you're just relying on systems or whatever the world tells you to do, like, you're going to burn out. You're going to get exhausted. So whatever spirituality looks like to you is like, if you want to be successful, lean into your spirituality more, lean into listening to that voice, and you will be so in tune with what you need to say no to and who you need to say no to, and what is like a definite yes. And that's kind of what my faith journey has looked like.
Yeah, I think so many times, we get an idea and we think that something is our purpose, and then there's all these distractions that come up, and learning to decipher, is this really what my purpose is supposed to be, and are these distractions and I need to ignore these, or is this not what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm supposed to be looking at these other things and they're not actually distractions, they're what I'm supposed to be doing. So
Right.
that it's something that you have to evaluate, I feel like, every day.
Well, here's a simple tool that can help you guys listening is, first and foremost, you have to seek clarity. And you know this, Monica, you've done some coaching with me. The first step is always to seek clarity. So things like, what is actually meant for me? What is it that I really want? what is like the most important project, the most important initiative, the most important thing that I want to execute and I know I'm supposed to do. Okay. So you identify what that is. And then every offer, every request, everything that you could do, you run it by with a filtering question. Does saying yes to this support whatever your main goal is? Does saying yes to her support whatever that goal is? Does doing this thing support me achieving X, Y, and Z? And if the answer is no, then you have to practice restraint and you have to respect the dream and the desire that God put inside of you. And you're disrespecting it when you give your time, energy, and talents to the things that are in no way, shape, or form supporting that dream that was placed in your heart. And so you can ask that filtering question. Does a yes to this mean no to this thing that's really important? Okay, well, then it's a no. And that has saved me from saying yes to a lot of things because I used to say yes to everything.
Guilty. I used to too.
Right, right.
That's funny you're talking about clarity because I actually, was looking back at my workbook, my high performance coaching workbook today, and I now have white sheets of paper all over my walls with my clarity and my purpose and all of those things so that I can see them every day. They're up and I can be reminded of them every day.
Yeah, yeah, you do. We're forgetful human beings. You guys, like we have to write down, keep the main thing the main thing. What is the main thing? And there are endless amounts of good things you could do. There's good, there's better, and there's best. So what are the best things that you can be doing? And if you've got some people pleasing to cure, then this is going to be a challenge for you. And it's going to be an opportunity for you to step into asking yourself, who am I most concerned about pleasing? Am I most concerned about pleasing myself and the Lord, or am I more concerned with pleasing all of these people that have their own agendas, their own desires? Like, who am I really serving? Like my master or social media? Who am I really here for? And it's a serious question to ask yourself because it's not like people that are asking you to do things or participate in things or want your help. It's not like they're bad. It's not like they're bad requests, but you're one person. And you only have so much energy. It's not even about time. It's about energy. And if you can't give your energy and your heart and your presence to something, and it's not supporting the highest and greatest use of your talents, it does need to be a no and a thank you for the invitation. I'm not going to be able to do that at this time. You don't have to be mean. It's just like you just have to learn how to say no. And guess what? Once you do it, you realize I didn't die. I'm
Right?
okay. I didn't die. This person actually respects me for saying no. Like they
And
respect my
and it gives
boundaries.
you some relief too,
Yes,
because you're not taking on that additional stress and it's like, "Oh, okay, I don't have to worry about this."
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So important.
Well, what are some daily habits and practices that you use to help with shaping your mindset?
Um, I mean, you know this about me, but it's no surprise that movement is a daily part of my life. I believe so deeply that the physical and emotional and spiritual are connected. That we were given these bodies to take care of these bodies, to treat them well, to nourish and nurture and sustain the vessel. And I feel like this is a piece that a lot of entrepreneurs, dreamers, and doers, they put on the back burner. And they're like, well, when the kids are grown, or once I launch that business, or once I hit this level, then I can pay for the gym membership, or then I can pay for the trainer, or then I can move my body for 30 minutes a day or an hour a day. And for me, the movement piece it's an absolute must have. It's a non-negotiable. And it is something that I will not let a day go by. It's very rare. Occasionally it will happen, but I don't let a day go by without that because when I activate all the cells and I oxygenate my body, because we know that in the presence of oxygen, disease cannot flourish. So dis-ease, meaning emotional or physical dis-ease, cannot have any hold over me if I am oxygenating my body and taking care of it. So physical movement, taking care of the vessel, taking lots of supplements, eating real food, getting the sleep, like I've prioritized sleep a lot more over the last few years. Those are non-negotiables. The second thing I would say is I always have something enjoyable scheduled into my schedule every day, something that brings me joy and something that I can look forward to because that creates these positive emotions and these positive feelings. And I have that thing to look forward to, but I also really want to enjoy the thing that I'm looking forward to. And because I want to enjoy it, it motivates me to get my tasks done, to get my list done, because I don't want to get to the end of the day and sit down to watch a movie with my family or play a game or eat dinner or whatever it is and be thinking about all of the undone tasks that I didn't do. So scheduling the joy in has been this hack that helps me to become more productive and more effective because for years I wasn't the best steward of time and I would kind of mess around and waste time on my phone. And then I'd go to this family time block that I had, but I was just thinking about work. And I was like, I do not want to do that. So schedule in the joy and use it as a motivator to get things done. Another habit I have is I always list my top 3 to 5 priorities in order of importance to complete. And as long as I get those 3 to 5 things done, anything else is gravy. Like if I get those 3 to 5 things done, then if there's anything else I get done, it's just like, yippee. I do not make myself a list of 10, 15, 20, 5 million different things like I used to. Most people make these really long lists and then you look at them and it's demotivating and it's overwhelming. And then you begin to self-sabotage, you avoid, you go to your phone, you scroll, you check your email 5 million times, you clean the drawer in the kitchen, like you're doing everything else. And I think a lot of times that's a function of having this habit where you make these really long lists. And so my habit now is to make a short list. And it's a short list of the most important things. And then the fourth thing is there's always some kind of spiritual connection. I may not be as traditional as some people, and I won't lie to you and say every single day I sit down and I read my devotional and I'm reading from the word and I'm having this like half an hour of journaling and devotional time. It's like actually in my life with all my humans and all my things going on, sometimes it looks like listening to my Jesus music while I'm working out on the treadmill. Or it sounds like putting on some great music or a sermon or a positivity message or a podcast while I'm taking a shower and getting ready. And so I just make sure that every day I put something positive in. Because if I want to have a positive output, I have to have a positive input. And for me, it's going to be something either spiritual or personal growth and development. And that is my time to myself where I'm connecting with God, I'm connecting with self, and I'm connecting with this. So those are 4 things that I do every single day for sure.
Yeah, and I think so many of us who have worked with you have taken a lot of those and put those into our own life. And, it's amazing when you start doing that and with a list and cutting a list down and saying, here's the non negotiables that have to happen today, and being able to not worry about the rest of it. It gives you so much freedom and just takes the pressure off of you.
Yeah. Well, and I think
And
for the people that are like, oh my gosh, a list, a schedule, it stresses me out because for some people that does. I would say number one, there's some child healing that you need to do, some inner child healing that you need to do around what that means to you. But also, I have structure like 5 days out of the week, but 2 days out of the week. I resist structure. And it's like whatever I want to create, whatever I want to catch up on. If I do have a list of 20 things, I'll pick whatever I want to pick from that list, or I'll do nothing at all because I don't feel like to be successful, you have to be super structured 7 days a week. There still needs to be this flexibility and creativity and flow where once or twice a week, you're not tied to this rigid schedule. And that allows the time for the creativity and the inspiration to come in and also just for you to like let loose and be human. And maybe today's the day you want to you know, organize all the socks and match the socks. And, it's the day that you're like going to play around on Canva for 3 hours because you're like, I'm finally going to figure out this Canva thing. And I don't have this like, hit list of 3 to 5 things I absolutely have to get done. Right. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Well, one thing that stands out about your work is the sense of community that you create. How important is building a supportive community in achieving personal and professional success? And how can someone cultivate that in their life?
Um, yeah, community is so powerful. Community is the cheat code. It's the shortcut. Not really a shortcut, but it is so powerful in growing your brand and growing your business, growing your bottom line if you care about that. But I think you have to be okay with starting small. Most people, they want to see, dozens or hundreds of people come into their community. And again, it goes back to this point of like, take care of one, then take care of two, then take care of three, and be that person that is just known. Like your character is known, the way that you show up is known. And you care about the person that's spending $29 and you care about this person that's spending $29,000. Like you care about all the people and you just never lose sight of that in building community. And I think you can't fake caring about people. So I think you really have to do some soul searching and deep dive in and make sure you're serving the right audience. Because if you're serving the right audience that like jazzes you and pumps you up, and these are your people that you're supposed to serve, you are going to love them and you are going to show up. And so I have been consistently for 9 years showing up in different communities. And sometimes people aren't paying me anything at all. They're just following along on social media and they're blown away that I will respond with a voice message to them. Or maybe at one time they bought something one time, but I'm still willing to talk to them. And so I think if you want to build a community, you have to show up consistently in your character and your integrity and also understand that community is not about you. It's about you connecting great people with great people. And if you can become a connector, you become someone who is very powerful, very influential. I have built this aligned community and other coaching communities, and I do not want to be anyone's guru. I didn't create the community so that I could be the guru. Like truly and sincerely, God is my guru. I'm not the guru. Don't worship me, but come together, support each other. And so if you're trying to build community, think about how you can connect people with like interests, like projects, like purpose. What events can you do, whether they're virtual or in person, to get people connected? Can you start a Facebook group? Can you start a chat? Like, what are some things you can do to start to get people introduced to one another? Because if you have a strong community, they will not leave you. They will come to your events. They'll come to your coaching. They'll come because they love the people that you attract and they love the people that you're bringing into the room. So it's got to be based in love, which means you got to be serving the right audience, not just one that somebody told you would financially make sense, like the one that resonates with your heart. And you have to think about their needs, not yours. And you have got to get them connected into the community with one another. If you do that, you will have so many opportunities, like more opportunities than you can even imagine. And it takes time. It takes time to nurture a community. It's not like an instant brownie mix, which is what so many people want. They're like, I don't understand. How do you have this? And it's been 9 years. Like,
Oh,
this is 9 years of showing up for community. So be patient. The people will come if you're consistent. The people will come if they can tell that you're sincere. And the people will come if you are attracting great people. And you can't attract great people if you don't know who it is you're speaking to and who it is you're attracting. So yeah, community
absolutely.
is
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah.
Oh, it is life-changing getting involved in a community and a community that, it can't just be any community because you can go find a community anywhere, but you have to get plugged in with a community of your people, and it is amazing what happens when you do that.
Yeah. It's like Your limitations are lifted. You know, we are created for connection and we can't do it on our like nobody that's actually really successful is self-made. I hate that term self-made. It takes a community, it takes a village. And if you want to go far, right? And you want to go far and fast, you want to do all those things, it's the people that you surround yourself with because you're going to have your days where you're doubting yourself, where you don't know how to do something, but somebody in the community knows how. And so reciprocate what you want to receive. Give what you're hoping to get. If you want people to come in and help you, help them first. If you want someone to be a part of what you're doing, be a part of what they're doing first. Proactively look for ways to show up and serve and give what it is you're hoping to get back. And when you do that, I'm telling you, like it's just the most incredible thing. And I wouldn't be where I am without community, without understanding how powerful community is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you have achieved so much with your careers, but I know that it's about more than success. What kind of a legacy do you want to leave both for your business and for your family?
You know, this is a great question. Before my son left home, he just left home on Tuesday to serve a mission. We were asked, we were sitting around in a circle, and one of our, pastors from church was here, and he said, "Hey, we want to go around and we want you each to give Isaac some advice." And this to me is like, these are the most important things in life. The first one was wherever you are, be there, be present with the people you're with, in the rooms you're in, with the people you're talking to, the people you're serving, whatever activity you're doing, as mundane or boring or simple or amazing it is, like whatever it is, be where you are. If you're present with people, you have the ability to infuse all of your gifts into the situation and you will enjoy your life so much more if you are where you are. You're not thinking about your past, you're not thinking about your future, and people can feel when you're present with them. The second thing, oh, and by the way, if you're present, there's no such thing as FOMO. Like, it's like, you're like, I'm exactly where I need to be right now, and this is where I am. So I'm just going to be here. And there's no regret. There's no FOMO. There's none of that, right? To be present. The second thing it said is learn to see people and ask the Lord specifically to help you to see people the way that he sees people. Because if you were to see people the way that he sees people, you would just love people and just learning how to love people, all different kinds of people with different backgrounds, with different beliefs, with different, lifestyles. Like, maybe they've got tattoos from their neck all the way down their body and you might be tempted to judge them, or maybe they've made different choices that you haven't made. But like one of the greatest challenges in life, I think, is to learn to see people through a lens of purity and love and to see the potential and to see who they truly are instead of judging them. And so I want to leave a legacy of being present, being fully engaged, being fully awake, and truly learning how to love people and not judge them, but also at the same time being absolutely 100% true to who I am. I think this is something that we're missing in the world today is we abandon ourselves, we abandon our values, we abandon what we believe and who we are in order to fit in or to like we think we have to do that in the name of love. And I reject that. I believe that we can love people and we can see them for who they truly are, a child of God, and we can absolutely 100% stand in our values and who we are. And so that's the kind of legacy I want to leave is that people can tell that I love them and I see them, even if I live differently than they do, or they live differently than I do, or they make different choices than I do. I want them to feel in my presence that they are valuable and that they're loved. I just feel like that's the root of everything.
I have to tell you, the first event that I went to for personal development was your event. And I remember your assistant, Janet, asked me some questions about it. And the first thing that came to mind was that it was really like I felt seen and I felt heard in that community. And I think that if I hadn't felt that, I would have walked away from doing personal development after that. It would have just been like, "Oh, this isn't what I'm supposed to do." But the people that I met there and the connections that I made there, we still talk regularly. Do events together. We are in the same rooms a lot.
Yeah.
I walked away and I felt seen and heard, not just by the people in the room, but by you. And that was the first time I had ever met you.
Yeah, I love that. Then I'm doing it. I'm leaving that legacy and just continue to try to remember that that's really what matters is our human connection. And we can do so much good when we live by those two principles, be present and learn to love others.
Yeah. Well, you have a big event coming up in January. Can you tell us about Align 2025?
Yeah, so Align is the best of like lighting up your business and lighting up your soul. It's like a soul meets strategy business conference, and you don't even have to have a business. You can just have a dream or a seed of an idea of something that you want to do, which I know you can relate to, Monica. It's a room that wherever you're at in your journey, you're trying to figure things out, you'll come out of that room knowing the truth about yourself, knowing the truth about what it is you want to do, and feeling empowered in the deepest sense of the meaning. Not in the meaning that the world puts on it, like boss babe, girl power, whatever. That's not the kind of empowerment. It's like this deeply rooted soul connection to purpose that lights you up and makes you want to run out of that room and get going on your dream right away. And so it's in Scottsdale this year, January 23rd through the 25th. And I just tell people, listen, even if you have no idea what it's about, if someone invites you, get in the room. Or you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know, you'll never regret it. I've never had anyone message me and be like, could I have my money back? I regret going. They're just like, they're ready for the next year. And every year it's different and it turns you on in different ways and wakes you up in different ways. So the site's aligneventslive.com. We're in Scottsdale, January 23rd through 25th, and it would be such an honor to see you there.
Absolutely. We will make sure that that link is in the show notes so that everybody can check it out and grab your tickets. It is the non-negotiable room for me. Every year, I know I am going to be at a line. Brooke, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and talk with us. It was such a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me and just for having this beautiful discussion. I hope and pray that it blesses someone out there that has been stuck or discouraged or just not sure how to tap into their potential. So thank you.
Thank you for joining me on Unshakable Belief. If today's episode inspired you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, trust your journey, embrace your purpose, and let your belief guide you forward.